Hey, what's going on? This is Rad, the host of SOFREP Radio, and today is a very special episode. I don't even know how to explain it. Okay, so Veterans Day is right around the corner, and I have three classy veterans. I said classy, they didn't, I did. So we'll let them define that on the show today. And we're going to talk to each one of them a little bit about what they did, where they came from. But first, I got to tell you about our merch store. SOFREP.com/merch has all of our branded items. I want you to go check them out, shop, buy something. Christmas is coming up, birthdays, anniversaries. I mean, who doesn't say, honey, can I please have a branded SOFREP flashlight? Yes, they do. They want that. So go buy that, okay? Thank you. Second, we have a book club. It's SOFREP.com/book-club. For those of you that already know and are part of it, thank you. For the newest listener out there, it's SOFREP.com/book-club. Now, once again, I'm your host, Rad, and I have a ensemble today, okay, as you see from the link that you joined. So I'm just going to kind of name off. I have Josh Coryell, I have Mike Deeds, and Bryan King. Now, Josh comes from the U.S. Army, Mike comes from the United States Air Force, and Bryan King also comes from the United States Army. And so we're going to talk about veterans, what they're doing in their lives, and how we can just be out there as a positive influence in today's society. Yes, welcome to the show. Welcome. No, we're real here. Okay, this is a real podcast. We're just going to go back and forth, talk about society and what you're all about. Okay, and also there's a little thing here that these guys all have in common, and it seems that I have shaken the bee's nest at Skydio. All right, I've had a few of your guys on, Mark Valentine. I've had the General from Australia, 2-star. Looks like AC/DC. Oh my gosh! And now I have you guys. Okay, you guys are just passing me around at Skydio. So I said, let's get you all on the show. So Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself. United States Air Force. What did you do in the Air Force?
Well, I was in the Air Force for 24 years. Wow. First 12 of those 24 I was an ammo troop, so essentially a glorified logistician that dealt with everything that blows up. Learned how to drink, party, drive trucks, drive forklifts, warehouse things, build bombs.
Yeah,
yes.
Yes. If you ain't ammo, you ain't shit.
That's it. Or you're like me,
guy.
and at 12 years you cross train, and I became a C-130 loadmaster.
Oh, no kidding, huh?
Yes, sir.
You know, my dad was a Green Beret, Special Forces guy, and he was also a loadmaster for his unit.
No way. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, he would be like, yeah, don't worry about it. I got it. That's all he would ever tell anybody. I got it. Don't worry about it. Just stay off my plane.
Yeah, man.
Because it's your plane, right? You're the loadmaster. It's at that point, it's like you're deciding it, right?
Pilot in command's the dude, but I speak for him, and therefore that's my plane.
So let me ask you something about the load that took off from like Kandahar years ago, or one of those Afghanistan, probably that C5, maybe C-17 taking off.
747, the white one. Are you talking about the big white one that came up and then cartwheeled?
Yeah, probably so, yeah.
That was a load restraint. They had mixed load restraints. So chains and straps, and these things break and fail at different rates. And that led to some armored vehicles falling towards the back of the aircraft, which by itself is awful because your weight and balance is way off. It's way in the back, and you have a high risk of stalling out. But it also took out the flight controls, so all the hydraulics for the vertical and horizontal stabilizer became inoperative at that point, and there was no way they could recover.
It was just going to fall out of the sky like that.
Yep,
that's what's happened. I see. All right, from a loadmaster's point of view right there. All right, for those of us that have seen that, thanks for kind of giving us some insight on that situation, right? Now, being a loadmaster is where you can put like, okay, a C-130 can hold X amount of troops, or can hold X amount of weight with the vehicles, or you can hold X amount of vehicle and troops. So, that was your goal, is to know every, aspect of that, right?
Yeah, 100%. We had a -9 that we could reference. So like TAP 1, TAP 2, personnel, and maybe you're loading up 92 troops and they have all their baggage. So you can do 92 in one with the pallet in the rear. It changed over the course of my career. I was the E&H models first, and then I went to the J, meaning it had 2 more pallet positions. So like a total of 8. But we also did things like airdrop and cool shit like that. Would go out and drop things for folks that needed it really bad. Or, you know, in
Yeah.
exercises, we'd airborne dudes like your dad, they'd jump out of the airplane and we'd help make
Now,
that
did
happen.
you
Back up the jump master.
when the back door drops down, are you hooked up like with like what they call a monkey tail and Chinooks and whatnot?
Yeah. So if we're doing tailgate operations, if we proceed past that line, the line where the ramp crest
Mm-hmm.
is, we have to hook up. And it's like a monkey tail, it's just a little bit longer. Essentially just not letting us fall out of the airplane. And
Have you?
then if we're doing, you know, troop door ops, the side doors that they usually go out of, we don't necessarily need to hook up. We just need to not fall out.
Yeah, just not fall out while they sit there and pull their static lines aside, and then you're
Correct.
just kind of hanging out while the jump master's in charge of all of that, and then
Yep.
you're okay. My load's out. We're good, and back to the Air Force Base.
Yeah, we open the door, make it look like we know what we're doing. We kick the platform out and look out as if we have a clue as to what they're looking for. And then we kick back and open up the door and give it to the jump master, and it's all them from there.
You ever capture yourself hanging off the edge of the back of the C-130 doing those cool kind of like dangling your legs and kind of flights, like photos?
I can neither. Actually, I'm out now. Yes, I have done that.
I love that. You're like neither confirm nor deny, but one time I got sucked right out.
You know, we always joked like that last flight before you retire, you're just going to put on your parachute and like jump out, you know, not land with the aircraft. Then we always thought about, you know, life support and whether or not those parachutes would work very well and how long they sit on the aircraft. So we decided not to do that.
Yeah, I could imagine. You know, I've watched Dad jump out of those. I've been through C-130s as a young man, you know, going through all of that kind of stuff. I actually saw more hanging out with my dad as like a 10, 11, 12, 14-year-old, and he was Green Beret than ever in the Air Force. It was really interesting. So
What'd you do in the Air Force?
well, I was supposed to go on and do full-fledged security forces, but I was injured, and so I got a U-turn, and it directed me back into civilian life. And so now what I do is I do large-scale war games, and I've been doing that for about 20 years now. And
Nice.
guys that have been out, guys that are in, guys that could never join, that have asthma, you know, someone who's never had the chance to even see a C-130. They come out to us and fight with us, and then they might fight with someone like yourself who's out. And you're like telling them like, hey, move over to the right and we're going to attack this compound. And then after that, they're going to talk to you and say, whoa, Mr. Deeds, you were in the Air Force, bro? You're like, yeah, that's something I did. And they had a little bit of a shoulder-to-shoulder moment with someone who's been there and done that. You know, a veteran has a lot of rock star attitude, right? And how do they take that rock starness and shine it? You know, and so we have a stage, and if you're out there fighting with us in war games, bro, you're gonna be the rock star out there real fast. It's gonna just, you know, today's airsofter is tomorrow's, you know, C-130 Loadmaster, is tomorrow's Navy SEAL sniper, is tomorrow's, you know, Marine Corps cook. All right, because every Marine I've met has been a sniper. Let me tell you all about it. Where's the cook? I want to meet the cook. I want to meet the guy that says he's a cook.
I thought we had a Marine on here.
Do we
not?
I have. No, we don't. So I'm actually picking on I love the Marines. I also love the Navy. I have a real fondness for the Navy because it's only as I'm older in life that the pirate's life for me, bro. Okay. And the fact is, they got the Air Force on water, they got the infantry on water. That's pretty badass to be on water and having to do all of these tasks that we get to do on dry land. So the Navy, in my mind, is just like a step above a lot of the other branches because they're doing it on water, like 80% of the time, right? Backpacking Army, you can't. I mean, they're backpacking and swimming. Like I don't even know. What do you think?
It's actually, if I could jump in there.
Yeah,
I have a nephew that's in the Navy right now, and I gave him a very long, and still give him a very long, hard time, just because that's what we're supposed to do. From Army to Navy, but I am very impressed with all the stuff that he does. I don't show that, I don't tell him that, but I am very impressed with what he does because I have to keep up the MO that I am Army and he is Navy and I am better. So,
of course, you know, and the thing is like they're doing the job on a boat.
Yeah, no, it's real.
And in a wave, like it's like, you know, they're like, you know, the horizon is always down and up on them, and they're still like just cranking away on a bolt, where we get to crank on that same bolt on dry land. Thank you, Navy. I just want to shout out.
I got like Top Gun vibes coming off of this. Theme songs running through my head.
Dude, yeah, really. I love that, dude. I love it. Now,
hey, Reg.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay now?
Oh, yeah, you're coming through great. Yeah.
Perfect.
Welcome back to the show, Josh. Now, you're also Army, right, Josh?
I was, yeah. So my career ended a little abruptly, faster than I wanted it to. So I did about almost 16 years. My first 12 years, I was field artillery. So I played with cannons. Yeah, so I did 13 series. And then beginning of my career, I had an opportunity to go to Raven School, hand launched UAV through AeroVironment, and I just fell in love with it. And it kind of just stuck with me throughout my whole time as field artillery. So I was actually getting ready to ETS to go take a job to be a small UAV instructor. And I got an email from Warrant Officer Recruiting saying that I was fully qualified to become a drone warrant.
Yes.
And so I called Warrant Recruiting and I said, hey, I think you guys made a mistake saying this to me. And they said, no, we don't make mistakes.
Fill out your WAFA packet. Yep.
Yeah. So I had a very short window to apply. I had about 3 months to get letters of recommendations, and I ended up getting selected. So I went from WOX to aviation WOBIC all the way through the UAS technician course, about a year long of schooling, and ended up being a UAS warrant officer for the rest of my career. But due to a jump injury that I had back in 2014, did some deployments to Eastern Afghanistan, had a lot of injuries. And so getting ready to go to Ranger Regiment, went for my physical, and they said, not only are you not going to the regiment, you're not continuing your time in the Army. So
medical.
I got medically retired. They're taking care of me though.
Good.
The Army and the VA has done really well. And yeah, so I've just been doing drones out in the civilian world ever since I got retired.
And that's UAV, right? Unmanned aerial vehicle, for my listener out there that just hears that acronym. And what's UAS?
So it's uncrewed autonomous systems, right? So the FAA over the years has changed the terminology. It used to be unmanned, now it's uncrewed. But yeah, so when we say UAS, uncrewed autonomous systems, that means we're referring to the aircraft, the controller, all components of it. If we say UAV, it's just speaking specifically about the vehicle, right? So at the end of the day, they're kind of the same. There's so much terminology though. The FAA keeps switching up the global standard, right? So we just recently switched to uncrewed, and then manned aircraft are now crewed, right? So, but yeah, so I've been doing that ever since retirement. This is my third job since I got retired, doing drones. So, had a lot of cool opportunities in it though. Got to deploy to Eastern Africa with NSW to do Switchblade. Just gotten a lot of really cool opportunities.
NSW, is that Naval Special Warfare?
It is. Yep. So
and you were Army though.
Yeah, so I was a contractor when I retired.
I see.
And we had a contract, so got to do a lot of really cool stuff with that organization with various platforms. But yeah, so then I came to Skydio about 2.5 years ago, and been loving it ever since. So that's how I ended up here.
For my veteran out there that's listening to you, who might have been in the UAV world as well, and you're still doing it, right? You're still out there working UAS, UAV. So Skydio, are they open to veterans like yourself to apply for this? Because it's a drone company, Skydio, and I have a lot of you guys that I get that are with veterans from you guys. I mean,
right? Yeah, 100%. Skydio is huge ambassadors for hiring veterans. We actually 2 years ago we set up the Veteran Employee Resource Group, where I'm the vice president of it now. But a lot of what we do is partnering with nonprofits, organizations that may have candidates coming to them that have a lot of really good backgrounds in UAS that are looking to come to the company, and so we do a lot of work with them. But yeah, absolutely. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's just even UAS, like veterans who are looking for work, definitely check out Skydio, because granted, like we're a drone company, right? But not everyone here is drone pilots, obviously, right? Like
right. there's brackets that there's probably crew chiefs all the way down to administration that can come on board, you know?
Yeah, everything from logistics to engineering to training. We've got
someone who's injured and still capable can still apply and try to get a job and, you know, feel some fulfillment in themselves if they're sitting there moping around.
Absolutely. Yeah, Skydio is our recruiting program is top notch too. I think Skydio has really figured it out when it comes to hiring. It was definitely a unique onboarding process than any other company I've worked for before. It was more of a selection process rather than a typical job interview. But it works, right? It makes sense because I haven't met a person at Skydio that I go, how'd you get here? Right? Everyone here is smarter than me. And it's just a constant challenge to get smarter.
Things just make sense. You're just like, okay, you're here, everybody's here. Why am I here?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm here. I fly the drone. Do you get a flight suit at Skydio? Do you get to wear a flight suit? No.
Yeah, it's a big fluorescent yellow one, head to toe. Yeah, it's got a big old Skydio logo on the back.
Mine would be a 2XL. Just saying, 2X tall, extra sexy.
Yeah, to get extra large bicep ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude. Well, that's
you have to wear the one. You have to wear the one with the denim cutoff shorts, Rad.
I will wear the one with the denim cutoff shorts. I will do that. That.
That's the next ERG thing, Josh. Denim cutoff shorts with Skydio logos on the butt.
That would actually be good for air conditioning purposes and maneuverability, and you know, and actually, you know, if it could just have like a little flap to go to the restroom, even better.
Absolutely. We'll make it work. Yeah. We'll start designing that now.
Yeah. My wife just bought a full on snowboard onesie underlayer thermal that has the flap that opens up so you can just sit down. And I was like,
that's the way to do it.
Yes. Because if you've been ever in a full on onesie and you have to like basically just get naked.
Flight suit.
Why even get undressed? Just live it naturally, man. You don't have to get undressed. Just let it go. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about personal hygiene while flying the drones?
Sure. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
If you have like a 8-hour mission and you're flying that with the Army or Skydio or whatever the case may be, are you allowed bathroom breaks or are you hooked up to the what?
Yeah, no. So it's definitely back.
Can you put it on autopilot and just walk away and go to the restroom?
Sure. So our aircraft fly an average of 30 to 35 minutes.
Okay.
And you're typically not by yourself. So in the event of, hey, hold the controller, I need to run to the pot real quick. In the Army, it was a little bit different because one aircraft could fly for 9 hours. You're inside of an actual containerized ground control station. The Gray Eagle could fly upwards of 24 hours. So those you would have to, tell your co-pilot, if you will, hey, watch the controls. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. So I don't think I've ever had a situation where I'm like, crap, the aircraft's up and I need to go and I have nothing I can do. And if I'm in that boat, I'm by myself anyway. So I'm just going to pop a squat right there and have at it.
Yeah. And so then I just have to say there's like the female drone pilots. Okay. Do they get a chance to take a break to go use the facilities, or are they hooked up to that machine that is supposed to like take care of their business, but it can malfunction on them?
No, I've never seen an issue between male and females when it comes to restroom breaks, like in the drone community.
Yeah.
Like we usually, especially when you get to the larger systems that like require runways, you usually have a platoon of 30 plus soldiers. So I mean, if it's a case of like they have to go and there's no other options, like there's something really, really wrong. Bathroom breaks is probably like least of our worries if we're in that situation.
I mean, I met a F-18 pilot, female, and I'm not going to give her call sign out because I don't want to call her out, but she said that her device malfunctioned like 3 hours into the flight. Okay. And so and for guys, you can just pee into it to the thing.
Piddle pack.
Yeah, the piddle pack. Thank you. She had to have like some special suction device attached to her. That was, if she had to go, it had to like, it wasn't a piddle packet. Caused all these puddles all over her F-18. She had to go, and it was like everywhere. So she's flying and had to land on an aircraft carrier and then opened up the cockpit, and everywhere was all these puddles of urine. And what's a girl to do? So I only asked that because that's in my mind. Okay. And I'm like, oh, drone pilot, 8-hour drone flight. Do you have to go? You know, and like, what about a girls? And I'm just, you know, equal opportunity drone piloting here.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good consideration. I think that's the benefit of the drone world, though, right? Is that like we're not stuck in the cockpit,
right?
Yeah, we're not stuck behind the controls, limited in a seatbelt. We have the ability to be a little bit more relaxed when it comes to crew procedures, with regarding like that kind of stuff. But big considerations, though. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, honestly,
yeah,
I would say something about Skydio drones that's different than everybody else is our autonomy, our ability to do things, set up a mission, and just monitor. We're just watching at that point. This is a flying supercomputer that's about this big with a little controller. And I was just down in Florida flying recovery efforts from Hurricane Milton with Bryan King there. And I was doing mapping missions over neighborhoods that were already inundated, some homes completely underwater, and not seeing the cresting of that flooding until later today, maybe early tomorrow. And I would set up a mission over a broad swath of area that takes thousands of photos.
Yeah.
And I was eating the Star Crunch and drinking some Gatorade and BSing with the sheriff dude that was there with us. Looked just like Farva, I swear to God. And just having a good time, like shenanigans. But we could do that because of this platform. And to everybody's point, like that's what sets us apart. Like we have this tiny little drone with massive capabilities, and we don't have to sit there and make sure it doesn't mess up. It doesn't mess up on its own.
Right. And you touched on this right now. So currently, while we're filming this, you know, the hurricanes have been hitting the panhandles and the East Coast, Florida and whatnot. So Skydio has rallied up a crew. You're one of them. Also, Bryan is. And you guys have gone down there to help with reconnaissance and recovery, or, you know, identifying anything that might need to be like for probably Army Corps of Engineers that need to see, like, is this breaking? Is the dam breaking? You know, any of that kind of stuff. You guys are being able to help with that.
Yeah, Bryan can speak to this a lot. He supports the law enforcement
Bryan.
agencies down there in Florida.
Can you hear me good?
We hear you.
So yeah, we've been down there as well as Josh, but I'm able to get message audio pretty quickly, understanding because you'd be surprised on how many of Hurricane Alley don't understand what when a hurricane is coming and how to prepare for it. So getting that information out to Skydio as far back as when Hurricane Ian came ashore, we were able to position gear ahead so that we support our agencies while they were flying. And when I say flying, I mean 8 to 12 hours like earlier. A lot of flying. We have an agency right now that they did 250 flights in like 3.5 days. One agency in a whole list of agencies that were affected. Going into the structural integrities, buildings, and so on and so forth, we're able to use our autonomy on Sky and basically just set some parameters, and the drone goes in and creates a twin of that area. I had go downtown St. Petersburg, Florida on Saturday, I think it was, and do what we call a 3D scan of a, you know, those tall giant cranes they do construction with these days. They're real skinny.
Sure.
Yeah, and so about 300 feet up, a portion of that fell off during the hurricane and fell on top of another building. I'd be happy to share that with you too. But they, it was almost surreal. It was like a Universal Studios mock-up of a catastrophe, because it just felt surreal. And so we were able to take our drone, set the parameters, and it went around the crane, went around the building, and it creates enough data points for us to stitch them together, so that not only you can use this over time for maybe insurance reasons, investigational reasons, but just it's a marker in history of what happened there, you know. So super happy to be able to respond to our agencies. You know, maybe you know, we had some people there that were vets. Me and Mike were there, and there was a handful of others. We had some people that weren't vets, but we all just kind of we grinded it out with a couple of RVs. Some of us were lucky to get hotel rooms, but it was fun. It brings out that little bit of green man, army man inside of me when I get
Yeah, it
called out to do
does.
stuff like that. So my wife's like,
Yeah.
Thursday morning the storm hits Florida, and by 9:30 that morning I'm packing the truck. She's like, where are you going? I'm like,
Selfless.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. There's just something in you guys that, all of our veterans out there that have that call to serve mentality, whether you're being paid or not. There's some type of something inside of you, whether it's helping the neighbor out, just taking a step over in their direction, or just helping them out, So that's probably one quality you guys look for at Skydio in a veteran or somebody that's applying, is just a little selflessness to the mission, just making sure that it gets the job done. And then also, my question is, maybe any of you can answer, who you can point to, whoever wants to answer this. If I, Rad, was to come to Skydio and apply to be a drone operator, what's the one thing that you would advise somebody to have already kind of on their resume? Is it a certain schooling of is it geometry? Are you guys looking for someone that's already, got a business degree, that can fly a drone, or do they need a pilot's license? Can you give me some type of
Sure.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I can hop on this one. So there's a couple of industry standard certifications that are definitely good to have, right? So there's the FAA Part 107, which is the Small Unmanned Aircraft Systems Commercial Pilot License, right? So that allows you to fly, to get paid and it be done legally. So Part 107 is definitely a really, really nice to have. I think a lot of it too is specific backgrounds. So like instructor trainer jobs. I've seen some people come through that have really deep backgrounds in like education, like from the military, being instructors in the military. In fact, a lot of our training team came from teaching, drones in the military, but we also have people on that team that weren't prior UAS instructors, but they hold certain attributes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause to be a teacher, you got to be comfortable with public speaking, right?
Right.
And a lot of times too, we look for industry experts, right? So if you look at our global government team on the defense side, each of us, even the three on this call, like we all have a very unique set of skills, kind of like Liam Neeson and Taken. Like we've all been trained in a very unique set of skills, and together it forms a really, really good team because we each have our own areas of expertise.
We call that Voltron.
Yeah. And but yeah, I think and I think a lot of it too is just having motivation to make change is a big one. And that really gets, and that may sound cliche, but Skydio is really, really big about that because we've been around 10 years, but we're still considered a smaller company. And there's no idea here that goes in the trash can. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that's what's huge for vets, because as a veteran myself, I experienced when I got out was, and I won't name companies, but the first couple of companies I worked at, I had all this motivation and drive and this experience I had that I wanted to put somewhere, right? For 16 years, it was 100% nonstop. And I wanted to have an ability to place that somewhere. And the option was never there. It was, well, we've been around for 30 years, 40 years. Like, this is the way this runs. You're not making change, right? And that was my biggest gripe was like, I want to be creative and use that energy, and I couldn't. And I think that's what's really nice about Skydio is that there's no bad idea here, right? And no idea just gets overlooked. So that's a huge thing for vets too. I think is I'd say maybe we're all a little bit of adrenaline junkies, right?
Yes.
There's opportunities to do that here as well. So, but yeah, go ahead.
No, I wanted to jump in there because I think a lot of us vets share a unique skill set in that we always look to do something outside the box. We always look to quote unquote accomplish the mission. Yeah. And even if there's a wall that's 20 feet high, we'll call somebody out and say, hey, you know how to get over that wall. Let's make a team and make that happen. Let's find a way to make things happen. And when I'm going through interview processes with bringing people on board, vet or not vet, prior law enforcement, whatever the case may be, college grad, I look for that. I look for that skill set of being understanding, like, yeah, I understand there's a wall there, but I don't have all the answers, but I know where to find the answers.
I'm really impressed. I'm literally like, how do you get on at Skydio? but joking aside, it's like if I was working and all of a sudden you showed up to do this job at the scene, I would be like, how do you get that job?
And a lot of people ask that, right? And we're constantly growing. And to both of these gentlemen's points, there's a few things that we definitely look for, and there's obviously been a general like idea of how we do stuff, and it's very similar to what I assume a lot of the people you talk to had done things in their prior military careers.
Sure.
Now, first off, I was not special forces. I supported them sometimes and even deployed on occasion in support of special people doing cool things. But this organization, Skydio, is at least on our side of the house, our global government side of the house, which is where Josh and I work, and I see it extending into the law enforcement. So it is a corporation-wide feeling of a flat and fast organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
The newest, youngest dude has just a impactful voice when vetting ideas and bringing up things that may need improvement as the most senior person. And that's super important, because that newest guy with that lowest level of experience may see things differently than everybody else did previously, right? And that's super important. But one of the key things that I think is prevalent across the entire company, whether you're talking to Bryan or Josh or me or anybody on our teams,
yes,
it's a passion for what we're doing. If you don't bring with you that inherent passion for UAVs, for service, for aviation in general, then you're probably not going to be picked up for that slot, because we're going to look for that person that comes with that passion, because that fills a lot of the gaps. Like when it may suck the worst and things are really hard and challenging, that passion sometimes is what keeps you at the grindstone to like drive through and get things done.
100%. 100%. Passion in what you love to do will just keep you going, right? If you believe in it so much and someone tells you no, you look at them like, I believe in it though. I'm going to walk away with this. I'm so passionate about it. And, you try to, most entrepreneurs are passionate about something when they're out of a job, right? The definition of an entrepreneur is someone who's out of a job. They're like, oh, what am I going to do for myself? Oh, what am I really good at? Well, I'm really good at Call of Duty and controllers. Maybe I could work at Skydio and drive the robot. I mean, there's just like, what are you going to be good at? How are you going to bring that? Maybe coding, maybe HTML, how to program, right? And you can be really passionate about it. It's like, how do you put it onto canvas though, at the end of the day? Like, how do you get that out of you? So it seems like Skydio, and I'm not saying that you guys are the end all for every veteran to come and apply, but you guys have a very healthy environment for that type of persona.
Yeah, 100%. And I think too, kind of go back to what Bryan was saying earlier, was when Hurricane Milton was coming, and they put out the message that like, hey, we need to start prepping a team for the upcoming hurricane. Like myself and Mike were at a government offsite out in Dallas, and just like the reaction, like there was no like, well, why do we have to do this? It was an immediate like, we went to a separate conference room. We started pulling up resources. What do you got? What do you got? And it reminded me a lot of like when I was in the military, of like, hey, you have this operation you have to go do. You only have 24 hours to plan it. Go and figure out your own resources on the way. And I think that's where that mentality comes in, because they can go, okay, I know how to plan this out. I know what to look for. They can, thinking those tiny little details that maybe the other person doesn't think about. And so that mentality to, go off of what Mike was saying, that's huge here. You can come with no certifications, but if you have that mentality, like absolutely love to have you.
I knew you'd say that at one point. I knew it wasn't just like you have to have like every single X on the resume, because if there is somebody that can fit the bill, you'll know. Mm-hmm. And if they come to you and approach you and have that je ne sais quoi, then there it is, right? True story. Now, I know none of us are in an airport right now, and I feel like I'm hearing a restaurant in the background. Am I hearing that? Are you hearing that, Mr. Deeds?
Yeah, that's weird. It's almost as if we're in an airport all of a sudden.
Wow, it's gone. It's magic. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, here we all are. We must be in the airplane now, pressurized with no sound.
Well done.
Not a C-130. Huh?
Well done.
Now, Mr. Deeds, how many Ferraris do you really have? Huh?
It was Corvettes, and I gave them all to my friends at the end of the movie.
You're the best. Oh, geez. And then you go back to work just to be like the rest of us. What an amazing person.
Of course. And my foot is definitely not black.
No.
As far as you know.
As far as I know. Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, you're awesome. And you just have to live with that. Just like I get called Forrest Gump all the time. Hey, Forrest.
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks.
Hey. I was running.
Now I'm tired.
I get the Mr. Deeds all the time. I get the dirty deeds done dirt cheap. In fact,
deeds, bro.
Basic training off the bus. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap was out of the TI's mouth before you knew it.
Dude, he's like, where's dirty deeds done dirt cheap? Which one are you? Oh, Lackland. Good old Lackland.
Yep.
The gateway. Right. Yes, sir. Now, you work with law enforcement, Bryan, and is that a division through Skydio? Are you guys all working in different lanes as subject matter experts? You got drones, you're working drones, but law enforcement?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Sorry, my camera cut out, I think. So I'm a solutions engineer with Skydio, and so my role is to work with a account executive to go out and talk to public safety agencies to make sure I guide them down the right solution path, be it hardware, software. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting in a parking lot of the Mets spring training facility. I'm about to meet an agency here to give them a little bit of a training on their new Skydio X10s. That's kind of what I do. I make sure that they're comfortable, make sure they know what they're getting, make sure they know how to use it. I'm kind of the liaison between sales, sometimes support, and a lot of other things that go on with the customer. And I've been doing this for roughly about 7 or 8 years now as a solutions engineer in the drone industry. So it's pretty good. We do have our own vertical of, we call it SLED. State, local, and education is the acronym for our team here at Skydio. We handle all the state, municipalities, counties, emergency management, colleges, universities, things like that.
Wow.
And I work with them on a day-to-day, hourly basis, making sure that they understand what they're getting and how they're getting it, so that they can get out and be functional and operational as soon as possible.
How does someone know to call you?
Because I'm Bryan King. They know to call me.
Stop, bro.
Anyways.
Done story. End of show.
Yeah. So I mean, we're pretty well known out there. We do a really good job getting out in front of the customer, doing real live demos, hands-on demos. We go to big conferences. We partner up with people that are out there. So, if we can't make it everywhere, at least somebody's out there talking about us. And not for nothing, but we spend a lot of time on the road each week, getting in front of customers and making sure they understand the complete solution that we offer. Which, I mean, I'd be willing to debate and argue that we are the only ones in the U.S. market. Maybe the world that have an end-to-end hardware and software solution to do a lot of drone activities, at least in public safety wise. We're able to really showcase Skydio from the time you turn on a computer to the time you pull in somebody that did something bad. We're able to use our technology to assist officers and officer safety in the community on all sorts of levels to really drive home this technology as a resource that the higher ups want to have in their agency.
Now, would America be okay with a low-level drone flying into New York and picking off a drug dealer and then flying away?
The answer is right now, no.
No.
Never
Right. And
not
so
like that.
sometimes America does that, though, and has a bad rap for it, where we fly into another country with a low-level drone or take out a low-level person of interest and with a drone, right? And there's a lot of that out there. So, as the US, we find it like we can go and do that, right? But we don't do that here. So do we have the means to stop that?
To stop
From your
that from
drone?
occurring.
Yeah. Like let's say you
Yeah.
were the other guy on another team and you were doing that here. Do we have the system in place to stop these drones? Because have you seen Terminator?
Yes.
Ever? Any
Skynet.
of them? Yes, sir. So I just want to make sure, and I'm all for what you guys do. I just want to bring that other aspect out is, what are we talking about here? Something that has no feelings.
Yep.
Something that just has a mission. And if it's autonomous, it's on its course.
Yep.
Right. But, let's talk about President Obama. He was very heavily, drone happy. Okay. He liked to use that a lot, and it's public record. A lot of presidents seem to like the drones, but we don't like the drones in our airspace. How does that affect you guys?
So I think I can talk to a couple of different levels here, and Josh and Mike, please jump in and help where you can. So one of the things that we do is when we go into an agency, we talk to them about the community and how they're going to accept, how they may perceive the drones, because we are not public safety wise, we are not enabling our drones to interact physically at all with agency, with people in the community. So what we do, we talk to the community and say, hey, let's be transparent. Let's tell them what the drones are for. Let's tell them all the value the drones give to the agency and the money they're going to save. Instead of buying a $24 million helicopter, I'm not saying manned aircraft isn't needed and isn't important. But there is a value in saying, hey, maybe we don't need that 6 helicopter. Let's buy a bunch of drones and we can monitor areas and we can do things with those of value. Secondly, the industry itself, when you talk about the domestic United States, the industry itself is very watchful of each other. We are always commenting. We are always researching. We are always talking with other people. And I don't think the community would accept that. And I know that the maybe there's people, if there's a Dr. Evil out there that's going to do that, right? But the community, I'm telling you, the community is very tight. And they're going to raise that flag immediately. Immediately. And I have no proof of that other than what I see every day on social media in between.
Kind of living it too. And you're living through it. So you're kind of doing the job and it's not being, attacked. Now, let me ask this question. Now you're in Florida. Let's say I'm in Florida and I'm somewhere in the Everglades and you're flying over me and I see this. And, I feel that it's a threat, whatever's flying over us. No one's coordinated. Power's out. Is anybody trying not to shoot these out of the sky from that perspective?
There's actually been a case that's gone all the way through. A gentleman in Florida, hashtag Florida man, did take down a drone, a sheriff's drone over his backyard. I don't know the reasoning for flying the drone there, but unfortunately, again, education of drones and what they use for, and the fact that they are just like any other aircraft in that airspace. If you were to shoot something at it, the FAA can come after you, and they have, and they are not getting any easier on their punishments. They're actually probably getting more stringent. So it's something that people need to, and it may be on us. Not saying Skydio, maybe it's Skydio, maybe
just the whole.
More education, more willingness to show them. A lot of agencies I work with, they take these drones to what they call Chief's Night Out, where they have all their SWAT vehicles and they have sniper rifles and they have their boats and they have their cars and they have their canines. Now they have drones there, and they have them there to show the public we use these. And people come up and say, "What are you using those for? You watch in my backyard?" Like, no. If you're not doing anything wrong, then you'll be fine. Now you have power companies that are pushing hard to do beyond visual line of sight. I was just driving down the street the other day, and there's a power company, a very large power company headquarters right down the street, and there's a drone going down the power line, doing power line inspections. Nobody in sight, not a pilot in sight. And so it's evolving, and I think if the community is strong enough and educated enough and willing to share that information with the public. I think it's going to be a transitional. There's going to be a transitional period, and I think we're probably in it right now. But it's gonna evolve over time, and I think it's gonna be okay. I think it's important. I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a second here. I think it's important that American manufacturing and American jobs and American drones are the ones that are flying over these communities, and I think that's important. And I believe that it's the right thing to do. Create jobs, create drones, and we'll have a nice little mixture going on.
I would agree with that statement. If we can have it built in house, and just hopefully have it that streamlined process where it is all, the U.S. Made and backed and used. I get that,
And if I can
go ahead, please. Yeah, Josh.
No, sorry. I was going to say too, kind of go off of what Bryan was saying, was that if you look at the history of aviation, right? If you look at the early 1900s. When the first manned flight occurred, the perception across just the U.S. itself was that'll only be used for mail. We'll never ride in those things. We'll never use them. They're dangerous. Like, we're not going to touch them. And I mean, look, 110 years later, right? Yeah. And it's the primary mode of transportation. Like, I've been on 4 planes just in the last week.
Right.
And so
safer than driving.
Yeah, it is. And if you look at UAS, we're kind of in that spot in our history timeline of like, we're in that stages that people they're freaked out. They're scared of it. They don't know what it is. They think it's just a thing at the moment. And it's going to be done in a few years and the technology is going to go away, but it's definitely not. I mean, if you look at the dull, dirty, and dangerous, drones are they're going to be a household item very soon, because missions that are dull, missions that are dirty and dangerous, we can now remove humans out of that loop. Right. And we can do it efficiently, safely. So I think that we're starting to go up our uphill battle that manned aviation went through over 100 years ago. And I think in 100 years from now, no one's going to be able to imagine life without a drone. I really.
There was once time without a drone. Really?
Yeah, exactly.
Was that around the time they made the wheel? What?
Yeah. Exactly. So I think we're
just like to come in on the tail end of that and maybe wrap back around to your initial question. Like Josh is 100%. We're at an inflection point.
Yeah.
I love what Skydio is doing, because a lot of the key reasons that we've enabled capabilities that these drones have is to keep that human operator out of harm's way, or potentially keep them from going into a risky situation that they don't necessarily have to, but get similar, if not better results than if we had sent that person. So to wrap back around to your question about kinetics and, using drones to take out that drug dealer on the corner or abroad, right? And you brought up autonomy. I think a very important thing to understand and be mindful of, our leadership, whether it's Skydio leadership or our governmental, federal, DOD, presidential leadership, all the way down, everybody is 100% on board with always having a man in the loop if we're making a hard decision concerning someone on the ground with a drone.
Correct.
Skydio, we do not weaponize our products.
That's good to
know. Our autonomy is used for compelling use cases to keep people out of harm's way and to provide great. Bryan brought up the 3D scans, right? Like that crane that fell into that building. Well, now they have to figure out how to get the crane off the building without causing more damage or hurting anybody.
But they can.
Now they can. That 3D scan, they have a digital twin to centimeter level accuracy to look at and go through with the contractual engineers that are going to be looking at all, okay, how do we take the crane and effectively remove it without causing any more damage or hurting anyone? And we provide those things. But in our federal, which is what I do, I support federal globally using our products, even in Ukraine. Our drones keep people out of harm's way so that they can make hard decisions.
And I was going to bring up some Ukraine, because there is a man that I interviewed. He was doing press for Esquire magazine over there, and he was in the trenches with a 20-year-old. And he's like, how did you learn all of these maneuvers that you're doing, bro? And he's like, it just came to me. And he's like, no, there's something about this guy, the way he holds his gun, the way that he was doing this mission. The 50-year-old was like, let's go this way. The 50-year-old Ukrainian was like, old Russian taught Ukrainian. The 20-year-old was like, just sit still for a second. Hold on and watch. And he sent a drone up. And they went and did whatever they had to do. And he's like, so he's merging that. You're nodding your head, Josh. You're like, yeah, Rad, this is what's up. The old grunt was just like, let's just charge the trenches. And the young dude's like, just sit still for a second, hits his big gulp and just starts flying it, dude. Okay. And that guy lives another day, the old dude. So, there is a young man's game involved, right? But not to say that someone in their 50s, 60-year-old couldn't bring that skill set as well. It's amazing. It's amazing. I do talk to so many people, Mr. Deeds, that have been in all these different conflicts, and they talk about these drones, and talking to you guys directly is just kind of a cool thing for me. I'm trying to keep it real. I tell you what.
Yeah. Because
there's airdrops, like there's guys on top of mountains and that get it, like they have heavy duty drones that can take their stuff right up to them, working on ski lifts, all that kind of stuff. So there is a very cool need for these types of things.
Yeah. And it's interesting because that's kind of where Skydio started, right? Skydio, when they started back in 2014 was made for action sports recording, like snowboarding and mountain biking, and look 10 years later, and we're completely entrenched with these three verticals, defense
Correct.
and sled. So yeah, it's crazy how much can change, but
snowboarding. Snowboarding. Okay, that's me.
Yeah, and maybe if you like parkour, you could use it for parkour, I guess too.
Snowboards are right there, bro.
Yeah,
I'm in Utah.
There you go.
Oh,
really?
Oh, really? Right there. I'm getting a new one.
You got a spot on your couch? Snow's going to be falling soon.
Right here.
All right.
Right here.
Let's do it.
Utah. We ride at Brighton.
Brighton. I love Brighton.
Yes. Come ride with me.
I'm
Any
on
of
it.
you.
That's awesome.
And give me one of those drones that can I can put a button on me and it follows me.
We can do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I love to snowboard. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's what the company started on. I don't know if Adam, our CEO, ever had the thought that in 10 years where we would be, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, now look at us, and we're global, right? Which is awesome.
Well, good job, Adam. Good job, Adam.
Yeah. That's off.
Jeez, yeah, rock and roll right there, bro.
Yeah,
okay,
killing it, doing awesome.
Well, and the cool thing about snowboarding and extreme sports and getting outside yourself is it's great for veterans. I like to say thrills before pills. Here at SOFREP, we like to say, yeah, go check yourself out, get pre-checked, go get your colonoscopy, go get your eye and vision tested, and go make sure that your blood levels are cool. Don't be scared of that. And get outside and go explore the environment around you. I'm fortunate enough to live right outside of everybody's bucket list of ski resorts. And I get to ride them 70 to 80 times a year in a season. So I know that I'm blessed, but I tell you, every time I'm on that ski lift and I see sparkles of snow in my eyes as I'm going up, I'm like, I'm free. I'm not 99 problems and snowboarding ain't one of them. Okay. But thanks, Adam at Skydio, for being about adventure sports. And now your business has grown, sir, and into some type of realm that is still growing. You're growing your own realm, and you've got all of this expertise that is riding along with you, and the team at Skydio and Kelly and Mark, and all of you guys. Just congratulations on, bringing me cool guests for the show, dude. That's all I got to say. You guys keep coming out with them. Yo, Rad, you want to talk to one of our other guys? I'm like, yes. We should just be Skydio/SOFREP. But at the end of the day, you're veterans who chose to call to serve your country. You raised your hand in a 90-degree fashion, probably more than once. Okay. And that's a big thank you from me and from my listener and from our community and our country and even our allies that depended on you to show up in the darkest hours of their day. We're really grateful for our American soldiers and our American sailors, airmen, spacemen. Can I say that? Okay, if you're out there, yeah, and women, space women. Okay, yeah, and Marine Corps, because you're different. You're Marines. Okay, and if there's a Marine out there at Skydio that wants to get on and represent and talk about how it is to be a Marine, you just send him my way or her.
Yeah,
Love it.
I think we have a handful of them. Yeah, somewhere.
A handful of some Marines.
We keep them around. Just
Bring
in
me
case.
your Marines. Yeah. Yes.
Bring me your Marines. All of them, please.
All of them. Yes.
Summon them.
Yes. I love it. Now, listen, guys, I can't believe it's been an hour and we've been talking back and forth already. I guess the mission is Happy Veterans Day. Thank a veteran. Skydio is out there looking for a good working individual that wants to be in the drone space. If you're a veteran, you got a little bit of a leg up, just submit your resume to Skydio.com. Try to figure that out. We'll have it posted up down below, like, Skydio's link, a little bit of our dissertation. So I really want to say thank you for being on the show and helping humanity with the drones, okay? Because we've all seen Terminator.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having us and getting us on here, and it was a great opportunity to just kind of talk about what we do and where we've come from and how we look forward to grow. And yeah, I really appreciate this opportunity.
Oh, you're all three rock stars. I could talk to each one of you individually. Your Waffet packet, we can go over that. Army, we could talk about your Army life and what you did in the Army. Air Force, we could just get right into all the C-130 jokes and puff and 25 millimeter shell, 30 millimeter shells, whatever comes out of all day long. So thank you again. And you guys are welcome back at any time to give an update on what's new with your company at any time on SOFREP.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Right on,
man.
Appreciate it. Appreciate
the time. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and shout out to Kelly.
On the couch when you. Yeah, Kelly. Is she still here? I think she is.
She's probably on a flight, but we'll give her a shout out. You know what I'm saying? Because she knows what's up. She's always like, Rad, let's just get some more. You guys are great. Thank you so much.
Love it. Thanks.
The couch is right here, bud. It's right here.
Cool. I'm on it.
It's right
as soon
here.
As you get the first
Snowboards.
Big dump, dude. All right.
We already got snow in September. We're hoping for it here this weekend, and we'll know in the next few weeks if we'll be riding before Thanksgiving. So,
bruh, love it.
Now, on behalf of Josh Coryell, Mike Deeds, Bryan King, myself, SOFREP, Skydio, I want to say thanks to my listener, my viewer, and if you're out there, like and subscribe, comment down below, hit the notifications. If it wasn't for you, there'd be no us. All those things matter. I'm going to say peace.
You've been listening to SOFREP Radio.